Welcome to Self Reality. I'm your host, Angie, and we're here to talk all things reality TV. And we're continuing on with our amazing first Survivor extravaganza of recapping. I am here with my brother, friend, super duper guy, Nick Hanlon.
Hello.
Nick Hanlon is also the host of Kayfabe Wrestling Talk, and where he's called, his moniker is Handsome Nick. And the Dirty Glass Podcast, he's a co-host with our other brother, Dennis Hanlon. So go check those out. Like, subscribe. That's right. And while you're at it, like and subscribe at this channel, please. I'm trying to build a channel, and leave us some comments. So with all that stuff being said, let's get into it. Now to the business at hand. So as I said, we're doing Survivor. For those of you who are watching this 10 years down the road, we're talking season 47, episode 6. And for us, this is the first time we just watched the episode, so we're doing a not live. We're doing a reaction right after the episode, so let's get into it, Nick.
And for those of you watching it 1,000 years down the road, Survivor was a game show where they put people on an island and made them hungry and tired, and they made them argue and grumpy.
Yep. Probably kind of what you guys do for sport, right? Maybe? Hunger Games, if it becomes a dystopian future, perhaps?
People for sure.
Exactly. You're a foiling green? No, I shouldn't go there. That's dark.
Episode 6, season 47,
six,
Survivor. Dun, dun. Well, that's the Law and Order thing. Never mind.
That's a good one. Bum, bum. Oh, yeah, right? So anyway, merge day, sort of, right? Merge, but not merge-ish.
Well,
Well, they merged at the end. So the whole thing was they got the drop your buffs message, right? Like the boats went.
Exciting.
It was exciting. But Nick and I, because we've been watching this for 24 years, said, didn't say merge. So what did they do, Nick?
What did they do?
All right, so merge-ish, I almost felt like I was saying mervish. Merge-ish episode. So what did they do? Well,
everybody had to drop their buffs and got excited and went to a big island. And then there's a big challenge with 19 steps again. And the funny thing is only one person can win a buff, which is really rare. Usually it's half the team wins a buff. But, there was a challenge where you had to go through mud, then you had to go through kitty litter, then you had to climb on top of a cage, then you had to hook a ball out of, like, rubble, right? They had to hook a ball out of rubble. Then you had to pull the ball, or it was a bag.
Yeah,
a bag, which was really heavy, like 2 stories, a story up.
It was pretty high.
With these hook things. And then they had to put them down the slide. And then what happened?
They had to run up the ramp, which is horrible.
Some people use sandbags to build stairs, and some people just ringing up it.
And then they won.
The sandbag people
won? The sandbag
people won.
I kind of blame... Anyway, we'll get to it. And then they had to do the table maze, which is like sort of almost like a labyrinth thing, but you have 2 people who have to kind of move from either side. It's a variation on something they've had actually this season already. But before we got to the challenge, they'd all gone to the beach and there was an advantage to be won, remember?
Oh, yeah. I forgot about the advantage because they didn't seem to care.
I know. Well, LaSalle literally says at Tribal, well, we searched for 1 minute and then stopped searching and just chatted.
And just like, what?
I know Jeff's laying on his acting skills. Like,
well, usually people will search for that thing for hours, though. Like they've done something like this before, and nobody stops searching and has a conversation. Like this time, they just all sat around and talked.
Hey, it's nice to meet you. We all love each other, and let's all be friends, right?
And Sam and what's her name?
So Sam and Jen were kind of wandering around, and actually. They saw like a buoy out in the water. And I think Jen was like, is that normal? And he's like, oh yeah, I've seen tons of random ones. And I thought, well, Nick thought he was lying, but no.
I thought it was strategic. It was not. It was just dumbness.
So then Jen went back, swam, found it. And then what she won was the ability. So, okay, so now that gets us based. Oh, one more thing before we go there. Let's talk about the whole Sue red paint debacle.
Oh, yeah.
So if you remember last recap, we talked about like they basically found Sue with some red blood on her face. No one mentioned it the rest of the episode. Well, that's probably because there was a whole big long montage about it or sort of there's a whole scene about it.
Everybody was just chatting. They're like, why is there red paint on these plants? And why is there red paint over here? And there's a big pile of stuff with red paint in it. What's this going on?
What's
And
happening?
they dug it all up and they found all the paint. And they're like, I don't know. And then what? See,
And then flash to Caroline sort of flashing back to Sue, finding Sue with the blood. And so Caroline and Sue worked together, so she was excited. And then Tiana had found her as well with the blood, 'cause she's the one like, are you okay? So Sue was kind of acting I don't think she was acting that well.
no.
But,
And of course, Sue left the bloody advantage in a thing with blood.
oh,
So even before those guys got onto the
I
island,
forgot that.
she like opened up the thing which was still full of paint for some reason. Like she didn't take it out and like wash it off, and now she's washing it again, and she's got paint on her again, which I guess nobody noticed. But I don't know.
So dumb.
It was a weird situation, and Sue told Saul that she's 45 again. She looks like the princess from The Bride from what's the movie? The Halloween Before Christmas. What is it?
Nightmare.
Nightmare Before Christmas. Yeah, not really.
I thought, she,
The Bride of Frank.
well, and I love how, I think he said, because that's what you got to say, we look pretty good, right? I'm like,
Sue looks like she's 75. But I mean, she's a 60-year-old with no makeup and an eyeliner.
yeah, like,
I mean,
give her, yeah, like, she actually looks,
okay.
I don't think she looks 75. I think she looks her age, though.
Well, there's a couple shots.
Well, she hasn't slept for a week, right? So anyway, I don't want to, like, shame Sue, but I don't know that I'd say, as we said last week, 45 was probably the wrong age.
It's like we say I'm 20. Let's go to high school. Hey, gang. I wear blue jeans.
There's a movie where Drew Barrymore has to pretend she's a high school student, and she's, like, supposedly in her 20s, and it's called Never Been Kissed, and she just it's the early 2000s, and wears, like, a fluffy coat and, like, her terrible hair, and it's just... Anyway, it's pretty bad. What about when Joey dresses up like he's young? Yo, sup, what's up, what's up?
21 Jump Street's about
Yeah.
that, too.
Yeah? Oh, yeah, that's true, Johnny Depp.
They did the movie.
We're really getting sidetracked here. Okay. See what happens when we just watch the episode, Nick? We're so excited. All right, so we do the challenge. So the challenge is 2 challenges. They do a schoolyard pick, which I wish we could have seen, but we didn't. And essentially, Genevieve gets to not participate in the first challenge, which is the one Nick described a minute ago. And
19 steps thing.
I mean, like every other thing. So basically, whoever wins, like whichever group wins that, they get to go to an individual immunity challenge. Plus, they get a meal together where everybody gets drunk. It's amazing. And then the team that won did an immunity challenge. So there were 6 in the immunity challenge. It was
Sue, Kyle.
TD Sue, Kyle, Sam, Rachel, Sierra. I mean, Sierra was out like boom. Rachel lasted a bit. Sam was out pretty fast, and it was basically Kyle, Sue, and Teeny. And they were like, Kyle wins, and he was Eye of the Tiger Man. That guy.
It's funny because he doesn't have a vote, so it was ironic that he won, I guess.
Yeah.
Good for him.
Yeah.
And it's funny because Sue and Kyle don't like each other.
Right. That was what was interesting, too, about Rome spreading all the rumors and stuff, is that he hit on that and he didn't even realize it. But in the end, Kyle wins.
You know, the redneck vegetarian wins.
It was nice to see him get a little feisty. But they did a whole challenge. They won the meal team challenge.
I mean, Teeny was drinking red from the bottle.
Like
She's
red
pretty
wine,
small, and she's not eating at all.
no food, red wine.
Just hammering from the bottle.
So anyway,
I like my booze, but I don't know if I would drink in that situation. I don't know.
I would drink, but I don't know that I drink that much.
The problem is, though, before you realize how much you drank, you're buzzed, and then you're drinking more.
True.
One of those things.
Yeah, I guess that's true. Okay, so
The food looked a lot better than the fast food, though.
they had all that. They had a whole like
Yes.
charcuterie. They had a spread. It wasn't like one hot dog.
Yeah.
All right. So they all eat. Teeny gets drunk. They all basically say, "Let's vote Rome." All right. Was sort of the conversation
Dinner thing.
at the dinner thing. I think others had already been talking about Rome, and we'll get to that in a second. Everyone wants to vote out Rome, so they all get drunk. They eat a bunch of food. They go back.
Well, it's because even before all this stuff, Rome was walking around telling crap about everybody, and then he ended up lying about a bunch of stuff, too. He was telling some people the truth and some people lies. I mean, you got to just easy when you're spreading stuff because people talk.
Well, you don't know who's friends with who. So
Yeah.
actually, good point, Nick. What Rome did was I think in the morning after they all came together, he's talking to Kyle, and Kyle was kind of dropping some info. Then Rome immediately goes tells everybody, so and so, Kyle's throwing you under the bus, Sue. He's throwing you under the bus, Sam. Now I think his biggest mistake was Kyle was throwing Caroline under the bus, but I think Rome actually messed up and thought it was Tiana.
Oh, you think so?
Or do you think it was Tiana? Because I don't think we heard him.
I don't think he said Tiana. I don't know if Rome was just lying or he got confused. I don't know if he got confused. I think he was just I think he just got so excited spreading stuff that he figured he'd just say some other names. I think he was just really trying to throw Kyle under the bus. Then they all had a big meeting.
So yes, Rome tells everyone after Kyle tells him this stuff, he goes to Sue and says, Sue, hey, Kyle was talking about you. Hey, Tiana, Kyle was talking about you. So then they basically have a meeting with Saul, right?
And Kyle's like, Rome, no.
Oh, and Kyle goes, it actually was F-U-C-K Rome, hardcore.
F Rome.
F Rome to Tiana, Sue, Caroline, Jen, Andy, and Saul, right? So...
Well, Saul baited him out, too, because he was like, anytime you hear something from Rome, you might want to fact-check it, because he just talks. He talks crap.
Well, and it was a good strategy on Saul's part, because then what happens? So basically, they're all like, we're going to vote Rome, but we need a second person. On a second channel, not a second channel, like on a second line, now Rome's running around. You got to vote Saul. He sucks. He's this. He's terrible. He cried. He cried to Caroline and said... After the challenge, he demeaned me. After he bullied and treated Saul like he did.
Yeah, I think people were seeing through that.
Rome's like, he demeaned me and he hurt me. He wasn't encouraging when I was like, holy crap.
It's a good try.
I mean, his strategies are solid, except in terms of, spread little lies, but figure it out first. I think if I was on the show, I would try to just gather information and suss out who's with who.
At first, you can't
first.
go run around talking to everybody because people are going to talk back to each other and they're going to be like, well, no, he was lying.
Yeah.
That's exactly what happened. If he just talked to 2 people, it would have been smart. He talked to a bunch of people and then started making stuff up.
It was crazy. And then Kyle is like, I didn't say that stuff. I do think Kyle did a little throw people under the bus, but I mean, Rome just took it to a whole other level.
And then made stuff up.
At
first he was telling the truth.
But then when he said Tiana, I'm like, Tiana and Kyle are are very close allies. There's no way. So that's when Kyle was mad. So now you also have Saul, who him and Rome have had issue since day one. So Saul's like, no. So then what's my favorite part? Now Rome goes around telling everyone to vote for Saul. And that would be fine. That would be fine. That would be his strategy. That makes sense for him, considering all things considered, except he believes everyone when they say, oh, yeah, we'll vote Saul. Yeah, we'll vote Saul. Yeah, we'll vote Saul.
Never thought if it's this easy, there's got to be a problem.
Right? It never...
He didn't pick up the energy.
And it wasn't even like he was that strongly selling it. It was just everyone's just agreeing with you like that.
And he thinks he's the master manipulator suddenly. He thinks he's like a Batman villain.
Oh, man. So... that was interesting, and I'm like, this is either going to be a Saul or a Rome clean sweep, or the editing is really messing with me, right?
It's good editing.
They are, but they didn't have me super convinced at all that it would be in any way, shape, or form that Saul was going home. I had a little, you always have a little, sometimes they trick you with editing and don't show anything. Yeah. Well, basically what it was is they said, well, let's vote out Rome because he annoys everyone, but just in case he's got something in his back pocket.
Couple votes on Andy.
Let's throw some on Andy, right? And then, right, so fine. It actually wasn't, it was eventful, but it's not a lot of because they're all new, it's not as much interplay and sort of.
The eventfulness was the merge.
Yeah, the merge was the event.
The double challenge and them getting drunk.
Yeah.
And then after that, it was pretty predictable.
Yeah. Terribly predictable.
A lot of times when it's predictable, there's going to be a left turn with the editing, but it was just so many of them were like, Rome, Rome, done, Rome.
That's why as soon as let's get to tribal then, right? Because all I have here is, once again, Rome is way too overconfident, but it's disappointing to me because he kind of started to win me over last week with like having a little humble pie and being a little more reasonable, and then it's like, nope, here we are.
Anything went his way, it just fed his ego so much.
He's like, yeah.
He just thinks, and he got, as we talked about on previous confidence kills, way too confident. He wasn't talking to anybody, just making sure, reading them. He was just like saying it. They said yes. He's like, good enough.
And he's just kicking back again, like, yep.
I'm the master.
Yeah, that wasn't enough manipulating. So we get to tribal. I didn't even take that many notes. There's a bit of talk about blindsides, which is kind of interesting because, we pretty much know Rome's about to get blindsided.
I mean, Kyle kind of like, a lot of people talking to make sure there's not a lot of BS being talked about. That was a little stab at Rome.
And that's the sadness, like you said, confidence kills, because it's like, you've got to be listening and picking up the vibe that's being thrown down.
Didn't notice. It didn't seem like.
No, he's just
Rome didn't notice it.
Rome's just kicked back, like,
yeah, I got stuck in Jeff's chair.
Well, not yet. Let's talk about that. That was kind of interesting. So yeah, frankly, the conversations were sort of like blasé to me. Not a lot of noteworthy stuff.
Not an exciting tribal council.
No,
really at all.
And then they kind of like they get to the amulet and then talk. Rome's like, the amulet's like, Jeff goes. It sounds like kind of advantages are now disadvantages at this point. And then, Rome starts.
Because nobody knows how to lie.
Yeah.
What are you telling everybody about everything for?
I agree.
Like, shut up. Say anything else.
I almost said Adderall hit Nick. Like, just make something up. Just say, oh, I lost my vote, or well, you can't say you lost your vote, but say something. I don't know. You make something up.
I mean, saying you lost your vote might even be smart, and then you vote.
That's true. Actually, that's true. See, that was a good accidental strategy on my part.
I mean, you could have said that, and then you would have still had a vote, and nobody would think you're voting, and you could swing stuff.
So basically, advantages become, here's what should have been said. Advantages become disadvantages when everyone gets told about them.
When everybody knows about it, because then you got X on your back or a bullseye on your back.
Yeah.
Immediately.
Like, or, I was going to say you tell them that it's only good if the three of you play it, but then that does put targets on their backs. Just don't tell anyone anything.
I mean, if they get caught in a lie, it puts a target on your back too, I guess. So, I don't know.
There's always a target.
That being said, I would have tried to say something. I wouldn't have said anything about having an amulet or I wouldn't have told people about it.
I know, but then what if the other two? Anyway.
They're screwed.
Either way, then Rome starts describing why, yes, an advantage is now a disadvantage. And then Jeff, I've never seen Jeff do this, actually gives him the opportunity to go sit on Jeff's chair and tell them why.
His stoop.
On his stoop. And actually, because Rome is like a professional commentator, he does a good job. And it's just, actually, don't you find it kind of interesting that he was he was very emotional and very grateful for it. And that was actually kind of nice to see that side of him.
Rome might be the next Probst.
Well, that's what they were kind of joking about. But it was kind of ironic that he got that moment, right? The moment before he gets voted out. Because Rome gets voted out. So the only interesting thing I actually think about tribal is the fact that, so Rome's sitting there thinking everybody's voting Saul. So I think it's so ironic that he's the one who thought he masterminded Saul finally going home after their competition or their sort of adversary, whatever the word is, I can't think of the right word. But instead he puts rivalry is the word. Instead of putting Saul's name, he's like, everyone's voting for Saul. I'm going to throw in Sam's name.
He just wanted to cause crap at camp when they got back, I guess.
Yeah.
And that is smart.
It was interesting.
Or if he didn't get voted out.
Yeah. If he wasn't so overconfident.
I mean, it probably will cause crap because Sam's going to try and figure out who voted for him.
Well, they kind of did show a little glimpse of it because it's Goddard, right? Because so basically Sam.
And he got 2 votes, so he looked like he was spinning a bit.
He's like, who voted for?
Was I the backup plan?
Oh yeah, and he says it right there. So it was 2 votes Andy, which were Sue and Saul, because he was the backup plan. Rome threw a vote onto Sam, and then 8 friggin' how many people get 8 votes?
It's got to be rare.
It's pretty goddamn rare.
It's rare.
Because when it's that many people, you usually have
spread around a bit.
Yeah. So Rome goes home. I do have to say he was a good sport about it. I Unlike Annika. Well, Annika was just so shocked.
She was like, I'm too good to be voted out.
I don't
Seemed like to me.
I just think, I think she was,
Afraid.
she was overconfident too.
But she was overconfident, yeah.
So that's about it, right?
I think so.
I mean, even for next week, it doesn't look.
They didn't really show
They're
anything.
not so
At the end of the thing, everybody got their buff, so I assume next week there'll be a tribal dinner or a merge food thingy, I would
I think
assume.
people get drunk.
I mean,
It's so
I wonder
fun.
if there'll be booze again. I
It's
don't know.
so fun to see them.
Are they going to do
Or are
it
they gonna
before the challenge? Are they going to do it after the challenge? Like, when are they going to do it? Because they're
Or-
going to do it at the same time.
Maybe they're not going to do food because they did that dinner.
Maybe.
pre-
Jeff said this is not the merge dinner, which made me think there's going to be a merge
Okay,
dinner.
I missed that.
So I don't
Interesting.
know how they're going to do it. I did like how they only had one person get immunity.
That was fun.
Because usually it's half, so one person that it made the vote was still boring, no, but
But it
usually
was
that would make
yeah.
the vote a little
I
more.
found it boring. So here's okay. Let's just talk for a second about this. Where is the tribe alliances? Like, where's the we got to go Gata strong? We got to go Tuku strong. Like, where?
That's already gone.
Like, this is the most.
Al was walking around talking to everybody. Andy was talking to other people. Al,
Saul's been on the chopping block forever, but don't you find it interesting? This is the first time, Nick, that I've ever seen this. So we're not tribe anymore. Like, no one talked about
Me.
tribe, and
guess we'll see what happens next week. But this episode, none of that.
not at all.
Everybody was just excited to get away from these people.
But
I
it-
guess after living with them for a while, I get it.
Well, and things are getting chaotic. I think Sam and Andy may form an alliance again because I thought it was fast. Sam agreeing to have Andy as the backup was fast, considering he calls himself his mentor.
Right.
But I think they're going to band together now, interestingly enough, because they're both from Gata and they both got votes thrown on them.
Did Sam vote Andy?
No, Sam voted Rome.
So the two people that voted Andy were what?
Was Sue
Sue.
and Saul.
That's right.
And Saul only did it as a backup plan,
Right.
but he'll get thrown under the bus.
Oh, for sure.
But everyone will now. But I just find it very interesting. What do you, so
I guess Andy will be the next vote out because I think he's going to freak out next week.
I shouldn't laugh, but it's so
Predict.
but it's so interesting when he freaks out.
If you want to write that down as a prediction.
Nick's predictions.
Yeah.
So what do you rate this one out of 5?
It was fun. It was 3, 6. It was good. I mean, Tribal could have been more exciting. I mean, what are you going to do? They're just regular humans, right? If this was written, it would be way more dramatic already. But I think with the way the votes went, dramaticism will pick up next week.
I'm going to flash that again, Nick. I have a little
Dramatism?
dramatism. I have it. It was a flash in the last episode. It's like all in dramatism. You're doing dramatism or something, right? Dramatism.
Dramatism, isn't it?
It's like a dad. It's like a dad word. The word dad would come up with. Dad. I'm gonna give it like a 3-3.
That was a good one.
There was some interesting. There was some.
I like the challenge. I like the challenge. I like the endurance challenge.
Okay, so Nick scored.
I do like the endurance challenges.
I like them too. They're very interesting.
3-6. What did I say?
So you said 3-6. I'm a 3-3. So let us know what you think. What would you rate this episode? What was your favorite moment?
10 out of 5.
Out of 5. If you give it out of 10, we can cut it in half. We can figure that out.
Averages.
Hit that like button, subscribe, share this with your friends. Let us know any other shows you want to watch, anything like you want Nick to react to that he would not normally watch, which we have banked one at least of those, and we got to bank some more as time goes on.
Oh, yeah, I'll have to do it again with the better sound.
I know we got the better sound, and I figured out how to make the image better too. For sure, do it again with the better sound. Actually, I would like to. So go check out Kayfabe Wrestling Talk.
Kayfabe Wrestling Talk
with Handsome Nick. Go check out the Dirty Glass podcast. Like and subscribe over there, and of course here, as I already said, because I'm talking too much. Thank you for watching. We'll see you again next time. Bye.
Bye.